My name is Domingo Garcia. I'm the attorney for the family of Ruben Garcia Villapondo. And the reason we're having this press conference is we're extremely concerned and frankly shocked that the Tarrant County District Attorney, the Grapevine Police Department, and the Euless Police Department have refused to tender the tape, the videotape from the police officer of a controversial shooting where it is really without question that a man who was unarmed with no prior criminal record, who had committed no crime, was shot twice by a Grapevine police officer. What has not been forthcoming from any of these three agencies is transparency and truth, especially for a widow and 4 children. Today we have a witness who will give more information on this incident. Her name is Patricia Murphy. She's from Euless, Texas, and she witnessed the immediate aftermath of the incident. And I think her information will show that there is a reason that these governmental agencies have refused to tender this tape to the public. This time I'd like to introduce Mrs. Murphy.
On Friday, the 20th of February, I was driving home from work along the access road by 121 South. I saw a car with its door open, facing sideways along the highway, with a man about 6 feet away from the car. The door was open on the car, and there was this man lying on the ground like this, and he was sprawled out. And I thought, what is this man doing on the side of the road with nothing around? I mean, you may see a dead dog or a dead deer along the side of the road, but you don't see a person. So I thought, well, this is strange. And I thought, well, maybe this man wasn't feeling well and he got out of the car and he had a heart attack. Or then I thought, maybe this is a case of road rage and someone shot him and just left him to die. So I get home and I saw a clip on the news, and I spoke to my brother, and he said, well, yeah, they're looking for the guy that shot this man. And it was later that, on Saturday morning, that I learned it was a police shooting. So my thought was, well, if it's a police shooting, why wasn't there any backup, any lights? Why didn't the policemen stand by the scene until more people arrived? There was just a dead body lying on the ground.
Ms. Murphy, you might want to go back a little bit on the timeline.
Oh,
Tell
there's my line at the time.
about that when you stopped
Yeah,
and put on your emergency lights, and what happened after that?
When I parked along the side of the access road, I put my emergency lights on, and I sat there. I didn't have my phone with me, so I couldn't take, and I'm not technical, so I couldn't take a photo. And I thought, well, should I approach the body and see what's going on? So I had the emergency lights on, and I'm sitting there for about 5 minutes with thinking what to do, and then I saw an ambulance arrive, and then I saw the Euless police arrive. But for 5 minutes, this body was left unattended.
What I think is this officer shot a man twice, left him to bleed by the side of the road, and left the scene of a shooting. It's unconscionable, it's appalling that this occurred. And this witness says that for 5 minutes, go ahead.
No, it was just, I went back and retraced my steps, so I know I was there about 6:30, 6:33. I believe the shooting happened before I arrived. It must have, and no one was there guarding it.
Go ahead. So did you see a police officer there?
No.
Did you ever see a Grapevine police officer?
No, I didn't.
You saw the body there and no police car, just his car,
And the body,
no police car.
no.
Was-
Until after the fact.
Was the man moving?
No, he
moving?
was laying there sprawled sideways with his hand over his heart.
Did you at any time call 911?
I didn't have my phone.
When you got home, did you call 911?
No.
Go to a gas station, call 911?
Did you see blood?
No.
Was he on the side of the road or in the?
On the side of the road. I'm on the access road. The highway is a little grassy knoll. The car was sideways on the grassy, no, I don't mean to say grassy knoll, but the median. and he was laying about 6 feet away from the car,
The car door, the open car door.
open car door.
So what bothered you was that he was laying there with no one attending him?
Right.
Can you repeat that? Can you
Right.
reiterate that again?
What bothered me is that I'm driving along home, going home from work, and the reason I was on the access road is because the traffic was so bad on 121. And then I'm driving very slow on the access road, and I'm looking by, and I did see some flashing lights go by, but it went right by the scene, so I thought, oh, there's a lot of traffic. But so as I'm driving along the access road, I just looked this way, and there's this body with the car. I mean, I should say I come from another city. I've been here about 7 months. In the city I come from, you would see things like that, but not here in Texas.
What city do you come from?
Chicago.
And
Okay.
there
What
was
do you
no
do for
police
a
officer.
living?
Pardon?
What do you do for a living?
I work at Costco giving out samples. Okay. So I was coming from the Costco in South Lake.
Okay, and was the body on the side where the JR restaurant is?
No,
On the other side?
on the other side.
Okay.
So he was on the passenger side?
On my side, here, this is easy. This is the access road and the highway. I'm on the access road, the highway's here, there's grass here. The car was here, the door was open, the body's over here.
The passenger door was open or the driver's?
Driver's side.
The driver's side was open.
Was open,
So he was on the driver's side of the car.
right,
Question, how long did you stop at that scene?
about 5 minutes.
And during that 5 minutes, what did you
I
do and
was-
think?
As I said, I thought, well, did this man not feel well and have a heart attack and get out of the car and someone hit him? And then I thought, well, is this a case of road rage and someone shot him or hit him, and did that person drive off? It was not until the next morning, I saw the clip on the news at night, and I spoke to my brother, and he said, yeah, they're looking for the guy that shot him. Thinking, well, what is this? But I was thinking, my feeling is, I felt this man's soul leave and call, asking for help. And
Did you
that's-
ever approach him?
I was about ready to, but then I thought, I'm not a nurse, I don't know, I wouldn't know what to do, but I was about ready to.
You said during the 5 minutes that you were there, emergency crews arrived.
But near the end of that 5 minutes,
Is that why you left?
yeah, when
Uh-huh.
I saw an ambulance arrive, I thought, well, they'll be in good hands, and then I saw the police car arrive. But it wasn't the Grapevine police, it was the Euless police,
Okay,
And up
before-
until that time, no
nothing.
Okay, so
But
to
before
me-
that, you said that when you were driving slowly, you saw lights.
I saw a light, but it went further on.
When
It
you
went-
say light, meaning police,
Like police lights.
emergency police light, and
Just a police car driving by, but it went further on down the road.
had
like
the
it was-
lights on, the
Yeah,
emergency
but
lights
it-
on?
Yeah, but it didn't stop there. It went on further like into Fort Worth.
Okay.
Did
And I-
any other cars slow down or stop
No,
during that time?
and that's what was wondering. I thought, well, aren't people gonna stop and see what's going on? Or and then I thought, maybe some people have already taken pictures with their cell phones and have driven on.
Was he facing up or facing?
He was facing up.
Did you see any blood or gunshots?
No, because it was dark. And I was he's 6 feet away from the car, and I'm easily 12 feet this side of the scene. So,
It's standard operating police procedure that whenever there's a shooting, the officer stays at the scene of the crime, marks it off, asks for backup. This did not occur here. Why did officer not do this? This is the case. Why did he leave the scene of the shooting? Why did he leave Mr. Garcia to bleed to death? He died about 4 hours later, instead of getting him immediate medical attention. And these are the questions that I have to the Grapevine Police Chief, the Euless Police Chief, because they are responsible for the conduct of that officer on that day. And it's really surprising to hear this kind of conduct by a man with a uniform and a badge. We know that the majority of police officers do their work, act professionally, take care of the public. It appears that we have a bad apple And the question is, why is the police chief of Grapevine and the city manager of Grapevine protecting that bad officer?
They say they're not, and that it's the Tarrant County District Attorney's office that is gonna take some time for a grand jury investigation, and that it typically takes this long. That's what they said.
If any of us had shot an unarmed man with their hands in the air, we would be arrested, we would be in jail pending an indictment. That hasn't occurred here. As far as I know, no criminal charges have been filed against the officer.
Mr. Garcia, will you be filing against both city departments, Grapevine and Euless?
Well, we don't know yet. Right now, we're just trying to investigate what happened. And this is just one more piece of the puzzle. The Euless Police Department says they have interviewed 28 witnesses. They did interview Mrs. Murphy,
Okay.
okay?
They did or did not?
Did.
They did, and,
You might want to tell that story too.
okay. When I first saw on Sunday, would be the 22nd, saw an article in the Fort Worth Star Telegram written by Michael David Smith, and you can, on the email, you can contact the paper. So I did, and I wrote to him and I said, I believe there's more to this story than what you're reporting. And then I reiterated that I saw the body by the side of the road with nothing in attendance. On Tuesday, following that, the Euless police called me, the detective called me, and he asked me all the questions that I've just stated to you. And he said, well, where did this happen? And I got confused because I'm new to the area, even though I've lived here before. The cities has changed a lot. And so I said I was further down the road. And he said, well, it didn't happen there. It happened a mile north of there. And he's like already trying to confuse me. He says, well, maybe you're confusing this with another case. And I hung up and I thought, I'm going to see 2 dead bodies on the side of the road on a Friday night. I mean, how could there? So the police are already trying to confuse me. And so I just didn't do anything at that point. And then later I saw a newspaper article and that Mr. Garcia was the attorney for the family, and I contacted him.
So you don't have any doubt in your mind that the scene you saw was in fact the scene of this?
Yes, I have no doubt.
Were you able to recognize the make and color of the car? Or
I know it was a Toyota, but I couldn't tell the color. It was probably dark blue or black, but it was dark.
Sundown had happened already. The sun had already come down.
Mhm.
It happened about 6:30 p.m.
Yes, that's
And I think
right. I even.
she brought a receipt from,
I was.
from Trader Joe's where she went immediately before,
Yeah. I finished work at 5:30, and Trader Joe's had just opened in South Lake, so I drove over there and I checked out of Trader Joe's at 6:12. I went back, I timed my steps, and I arrived at that scene around 6:33 or 6:35 on Friday the 20th of February.
And,
So Domingo, so there is no confusion regarding this particular car. She is talking about the same car, and not like the U.S. police is, according to her, trying to confuse her.
We don't know why the Euless detective, I think his name is Detective Pasco, tried to say that she didn't see what she saw. But we do believe that there is a clear, if you look at the trend line, we're gonna release the videotape. No, we're not. We're gonna talk about what happened. No, we're not. And then they're gonna talk to 28 witnesses, but they have not released any of the testimony of the 28 witnesses. Why? What are they hiding? What are they covering up?
Do you have access to that list of 28 witnesses?
No, but we already had several other witnesses that we've talked to. All have confirmed that Mr. Garcia was unarmed, had his hands in the air when the officer shot him.
Have you seen the videotape? Did you see it with the family?
No, the family has seen it. I have not
Without
seen it.
you?
Not without me.
Uh-huh.
about how many witnesses have you already talked to?
About 5.
Do they usually release testimony of witnesses in cases like this?
When they're exculpatory.
How come you weren't with the family when they saw the video?
They hadn't hired me yet.
Oh,
They hired me afterwards.
oh, okay.
So after
When they
she-
saw the video.
Oh, okay.
After she talked to the police on the phone and tried to confuse you, have you talked to them again and given your testimony?
No. He hasn't called me back.
Are you
Have you-
gonna
I
talk to them
I
again?
did,
and get
I
testimony?
did call them back, and I just left a message. I said, I'm not confused. I don't think we see 2 dead bodies along the side of the road on a Friday night, and that's all that I said. And then I then I saw an article, and that's how I was able to reach out to Mr. Garcia.
So
Yeah,
did you,
that's
so
the
did you
first
sign
thing.
an affidavit
No.
or anything that,
Nothing, it was just a telephone.
just a telephone call? They
Just a
didn't come to
telephone
talk to
call.
you in person and interview you and not question
No.
you?
Do you know who you talked to?
Yes, his name is Detective Panko or Pasco.
817-685-1542.
One more time.
817-685-1542. He left his number.
Patricia, for anyone who sees this and puts themselves in a similar position, maybe seeing something as evidently horrific as you did, how do you explain not contacting the police? That seems,
Well, it's apparent. I didn't call them because I thought it was under police control when I saw the ambulance arrive and the police car arrive.
Had you had your cell phone with you, would you have called immediately?
Oh, yes, I would have.
Did you
But-
speak?
But when I saw
Help around.
the ambulance arrived first and then the police, I figured, well, it's in good hands.
Okay, and then how close were you to the body?
About 12 feet, 12 or
12
15
feet?
feet.
Did he appear to be alive?
No.
Did you speak to any of the emergency personnel who did arrive?
Have you talked to the family? Have you seen them?
No, just Mr. Garcia. That's another thing. I was contacting the newspapers. That's when I think I first called you, because I wanted to go to the funeral and express my grief and condolences. But
If you had gone to that funeral, what would you say to the wife?
I am so sorry. I think this is unfair. I think I think it was a wrongful death.
Why do you think it's unfair?
Because the man was unarmed, he had nothing, there was no reason to shoot him. He was getting out of the car and he had his hands up, he was unarmed. Why should he have been?
We do expect that unless the Grapevine Police Department and the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office and Euless Police Department do not release this videotape to the public and the world, that we will be having additional witnesses come forward with what they saw. We don't want to try the case in public, but the Grapevine Police Department and the Tarrant County District Attorney are not leaving the family very much choice.
why not let the process play itself out? I know that question's been asked in different forms, but essentially, why not allow them to complete their investigation?
Because the officer hasn't been indicted or arrested, because the officer hasn't been fired. Because what we've seen in the past is that cases like this, where you have a officer shoot an unarmed individual, have a tendency to get dismissed, discounted.
What history are you referring to?
The shootings of multiple people throughout the United States. What's happening in Ferguson is indicative of what's happening in Grapevine, Texas.
Domingo, have you had interactions with either police department regarding Ms. Murphy's account of what she's from?
Frankly, we were waiting to get the Grapevine tape, police tape, and the police report, which have not been released, despite our request.
So what will be your move then? What happens from here?
We're looking at possible legal action to file for the release of the tape initially. In terms of the civil cause of action, we have to file a claim with the city and give them 6 months to respond. So that's a long process. But we could file what's called a Rule 202 discovery request to get access to the videotape. And we're looking at doing that sometime next week. But again, we're hopeful that I'm trying to schedule a meeting with the Tarrant County District Attorney to see if they'll voluntarily do it.
What is
Now,
your-
I was concerned, by the way, that the Euless police spokesperson said they didn't think it was good to release the tape because it might taint the jury pool. What are you afraid of tainting the jury pool? We just had the American Sniper trial in Stephenville, and there was no worry about tainting the jury pool with any evidence or testimony that came out.
What is your take on why perhaps the body was left unattended like that? What can you offer in terms of why that happened?
I can only speculate, but if you commit a crime, don't you leave the scene of the crime? If you shoot an unarmed man with his hands in the air, and you're in a different jurisdiction, you're not in Grapevine, you're in Euless, I think the officer panicked and left, because he knew he did something wrong.
And Patricia, did you call Domingo,
I-
a week, 10 days ago?
It's been more than a week or so. I thought, well, I mean, I called him as soon as I read in the newspaper that he was the attorney for the family. And that was about a week or 10 days ago.
Okay, and your name is conventional spelling, Patricia, Patricia, Murphy.
M-U-R-P-H-Y.
And how old are you?
Oh, do I have to go?
Domingo, you
No one
opened,
knows.
since you opened the door about this being a national occurrence, what do you think? Yesterday, the Department of Justice announced funds to basically be distributed along the country to gain trust between the public and the and police departments. What is your comment regarding this particular issue in the Grapevine?
It's only as good as the training. For example, what the family told me after they saw the videotape is that after they hear the 2 gunshots, the camera is turned off. So that also concerns me of the timing. Why would the police officer go turn off the camera? Okay?
And you know for a fact that he turned off the camera?
That's what the family saw.
Okay.
Fernando Romero, who was the brother-in-law of Ruben Garcia, saw the video. He told me that in the video, after you hear the 2 shots, then the camera is turned off. And again, if you're leaving the scene of the crime, you turn off the camera. So I don't know, if you have a body camera and you turn it off, that would expose anything.
Right, but can you follow up the question? What do you think about this particular event from the Department or announcement from the Department of Justice about basically throwing
We have
money
a
to
national, we do have a national issue, and Ruben Garcia's case is just one of many of African-American and Latino men being shot by police officers under questionable circumstances. And that goes to lack of training, lack of diversification of the police forces, and then lack of coming forward and saying, when a mistake is made, we made a mistake, we're gonna fix it. I mean, we have a hazing incident in Oklahoma, and the president of the Oklahoma immediately expels these 2 students and closes the frat house. The police chief of Grapevine, twiddling his thumbs.
Okay, regarding your request about the Department of Justice opening an investigation to the FBI or the Texas Rangers, which is what you said before, where are you in that particular?
They have a new FBI director. We understand that they are monitoring the case, but have not started an investigation.
But you know, since we have a lot of these shootings and the Ferguson case, there was a lot of people gathering to support and show disgust. Do you have plans of asking community